Beloved chosen one, before we begin, I want to take a sacred moment to say thank you to everyone who has supported this channel through super thanks. Your generosity fuels the mission. You are sowing into a message that reaches hearts around the world, and I'm deeply honored to walk this journey with you. And for those who simply show up with open ears, open hearts, and quiet strength, your presence means more than you know. Whether you donate or not, know this: you are seen, you are valued, and I am grateful for you. Now, drop 777 in the comments if your spirit is ready to unlock what's been waiting for you behind the curtain of chaos, because this isn't just another word. This is your spiritual mirror. This message is energy, and once it reaches you, something in your soul is going to shift for good. There's a law etched into the divine fabric of the universe that no one escapes. When someone throws a throne of thorns in your path, when they scheme, mock, sabotage, or slander, they may think they've won. But the universe doesn't forget. God does not sleep, and when he responds, it isn't subtle, it roars. Chosen one, you're not watching this by accident. Your very existence threatens every lie they've built to keep people small. You are the interruption they didn't expect, the plot twist in a story they thought they had full control over. You don't even have to fight them. Your rising is the revenge. And the more they tried to bury you, the deeper your roots grew. What they saw as your funeral was actually your germination. So let me ask you this: are you ready to stop shrinking and start recognizing who you really are? Because once you make it to the end of this message, you won't just be inspired, you'll be transformed. You'll stop questioning your delays and start recognizing them as divine detours. You'll stop seeing the attacks as setbacks and start recognizing them as setups. This message won't whisper to you, it will wake you. This is not for the faint-hearted, this is for the chosen. Let's begin. God's chosen ones, if this video found you, you're meant to see it. Number 1. Stop thinking you're ordinary. A divine activation begins now. Chosen one, have you ever paused and asked yourself, why does life feel so different for me? Why do people react to your presence in extremes? Some drawn to you like gravity, others shaken by something they can't name. Why do you keep hearing the same message in different forms? Almost like God is trying to break through the noise of the world to reach you directly. It's because you're not here to fit in. You're here to break patterns. What you're about to hear isn't just inspiration, it's activation. If these words have found you, it means they were sent for you. This isn't luck. This isn't coincidence. This is divine design. The very frequency of this message is calibrated for those walking in rare, sacred purpose. And you, chosen one, are one of them. God never sends warnings, confirmations, or whispers of identity to those who aren't ready to receive them. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. 1 Peter 2:9. You were set apart before you even knew what that meant. This is why nothing in your life has been average. This is why ease was never your path. It was always elevation. Think of the Mona Lisa. It doesn't hang on a random wall in someone's living room. It's sealed behind bulletproof glass, guarded day and night, placed in the Louvre. Why? Because value attracts risk. Greatness invites protection. And chosen one, that is why certain people couldn't get near you. That's why you were misunderstood, overlooked, or even pushed aside. Not because you're unworthy, but because you are priceless. Beyoncé once said in an interview, "The reality is, sometimes you lose people, but you gain clarity." As one of the most powerful voices of our generation, she knew that fame didn't protect her from betrayal, but purpose clarified her path. Likewise, those who fell away from your life didn't leave you empty. They left space for alignment. When they walked away, when opportunities slipped through your hands, when every effort you made met delay after delay, you thought God was saying no. But what if he was saying, not that way? What if the detours weren't punishments but redirections? Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Proverbs 19:21. You've been trying to make sense of the delays. You've prayed, you've cried, you've wondered why others seem to rise so easily while your victories come with battle scars. But chosen one, God doesn't build diamonds in soft sand, he presses them through fire. Consider Chadwick Boseman. Before becoming a global icon as the Black Panther, he faced countless rejections. His path was not smooth. Behind his quiet strength was a man forged by spiritual conviction and years of unseen battles. And yet, in silence, he carried divine purpose. So much so that even after his death, his legacy continues to inspire millions. You may not see the full picture now, but you're being positioned ahead of your time. There's a reason you feel older than your years, why you carry wisdom others can't trace. The betrayals you've endured, they were pruning, not punishment. The isolation, it wasn't abandonment, it was preservation. You've been hidden like Esther in the palace before her assignment. Do you remember what Mordecai told her? Who knows whether you've come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. And so have you. What if every relationship that ended was a shield, not a wound? What if every closed door was God placing a do not enter sign on a path that would have harmed your purpose? This is what divine subtraction looks like. It removes what distracts so your destiny can rise unobstructed. And here's the twist. Those who once mocked your journey, those who cast you aside, they will soon bear witness to your rise in places they can't access. Like Joseph's brothers, they may not have recognized your calling, but they will eventually stand in awe of it. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Selena Gomez, once targeted by tabloids and false narratives, rose above it all, not just through talent, but through tenacity and spiritual awareness. Her transparency about pain became part of her healing, and in that process, she stopped explaining and started living fully as who God made her to be. You, chosen one, are being called to do the same. Stop chasing what doesn't see you. Stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. The chosen don't beg for entry. We become the doorway. What's for you doesn't need convincing. It will fit. It will feel right. It will know you even before you arrive. Isaiah 60:22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." You are stepping into divine timing. Everything that's been blocked, delayed, or denied is now being rearranged. You haven't been forgotten. You've been prepared. So rise, speak with clarity, walk with power, and remember, your presence isn't an accident. It's an answer. You're not ordinary. You never were. And now you're about to see why. Number 2. Rejection was never rejection. It was divine redirection. Chosen one, can I ask you something personal? What if the very thing that broke your heart was actually sent to save your soul? What if that person you prayed to keep was blocking the blessing God had already prepared for you? Have you ever considered that the things you're chasing might be the exact things heaven has been trying to remove? You see, you're not just anyone. You are set apart, divinely marked, and spiritually equipped for a calling that not everyone is allowed to accompany. So when they left, when they ghosted you, betrayed you, overlooked you, it wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of your purification. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118, verse 22. That stone is you, chosen one. Let that sink in for a moment. You were rejected because your destiny didn't fit into their comfort zone. You were too much truth in a world addicted to illusion, too much light in a place where shadows reigned. You were never meant to walk with everyone. Jesus himself chose 12 disciples, yet even among them, one betrayed him. Not because Jesus lacked discernment, but because betrayal was part of the process. Think about Marilyn Monroe. Her early career was riddled with rejection. Studios didn't see her potential. Critics dismissed her as a passing face, but she didn't let rejection define her. She allowed it to refine her. Eventually, she became not just an actress, but a cultural icon, forever remembered. She was too much for an industry still trying to catch up. And so were you. The door that closed was not meant to lead to your promise. That person who left was not strong enough to endure your journey. Chosen one, you must stop romanticizing what was designed to derail you. God does not allow rejection without a reason. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Even the no's were covered in grace. You cried over their absence because you didn't see the conversations they had behind your back. You mourned their exit because you didn't hear the envy they whispered when you weren't around. But God did. The Holy Spirit shielded you from unseen destruction, and you called it heartbreak. In reality, it was divine rescue. Now look at you, stronger, clearer, lighter. You've grown in silence. You've sharpened in solitude. What was meant to destroy you ended up becoming your classroom. They left thinking you'd collapse, but you evolved instead. The story of Tyler Perry is another divine illustration. For years, he lived in poverty. He faced rejection from theaters, criticism from media, and silence from producers. But he kept creating. He stayed faithful to the call on his life. Eventually, that persistence birthed a multi-billion-dollar film empire. Those who once rejected him now line up to collaborate. Rejection for him was redirection into legacy. Let this truth settle into your spirit. You were never abandoned. You were upgraded. The exit wasn't your fault. It was their inability to handle your power. And the more they tried to diminish you, the more heaven raised you. That's what happens when someone messes with a chosen one. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. But God never said the weapon wouldn't form. He just promised it wouldn't win. Rejection is painful, yes, but it's purposeful. It's not the ending, it's the editing. God edits your circle like a master storyteller. He removes characters that no longer serve the next chapter. That's not cruelty, that's craftsmanship. Steve Harvey often speaks about being homeless, sleeping in his car, and feeling like he had nothing. But in those low moments, after doors slammed in his face, he found clarity. He built a life not from acceptance, but from overcoming rejection. His testimony now inspires millions who are walking the same road you're on. So, chosen one, it's time to stop chasing what was never yours. Stop watering relationships that were already rooted in spiritual drought. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. When you're divinely chosen, what's meant for you will already recognize you. It won't require pleading. It won't need performance. It will see you. You're not here by accident. The heartbreaks were on purpose. The betrayals had purpose. Every no you heard was pushing you toward the right yes. Every ghosted message, every ignored text, every silent treatment. It wasn't your rejection. It was your redirection. It was God's way of clearing the fog so your soul could breathe again. You're not missing out. You're being realigned. The absence you feel today will become the abundance you walk in tomorrow. And the people who turn their backs on you, one day they'll realize they didn't just lose you. They lost access to the divine favor attached to you. So rise up, walk forward. No more looking back. The filter has been applied. What remains now is pure. What comes next will be sacred. And the doors opening before you, they won't just let you in. They'll honor your arrival. Number 3, you're not meant to be handled, you're meant to be honored. Chosen one, let me ask you something that might reveal more truth than you're ready for. Have you ever felt like people were trying to figure you out, but couldn't? Like you walk into a room and something shifts before you even say a word. It's not a feeling, it's not your imagination. That's spiritual weight, that's divine energy, and not everyone knows how to handle that. This world isn't built for the sacred. It's designed to praise the popular and overlook the powerful, especially those whose power comes from above, not from performance. That's why you've been mishandled. That's why you've been underestimated. And that's why you must stop allowing yourself to be handled carelessly. You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. You don't belong to the world. You belong to God. And what belongs to God cannot be tossed around by people who only know how to operate in fear, pride, or ego. You are His special possession, handpicked for a divine assignment that most can't comprehend. Some people only saw you as entertainment. Others saw you as a resource. Very few saw you as sacred. But that doesn't mean you lower your standards. It means you raise your discernment. Think about how museum curators handle artifacts that are rare and priceless. They wear gloves. They display them behind glass. They monitor the temperature in the room. Why? Because of the value, because of the history, because of the uniqueness. That's how heaven views you. Look at the life of Princess Diana. She wasn't just a royal. She was a revolutionary soul who carried a presence that could not be confined to protocol. Yet the world tried to treat her like a spectacle. She was constantly pursued, misunderstood, and mishandled by a system that couldn't comprehend the depth of her compassion. But in the end, it was clear she wasn't meant to be controlled. She was meant to change things. So are you. Chosen one, the people who mishandled you didn't just make a mistake. They exposed themselves. They revealed that they weren't ready for the frequency you carry. You are not chaotic. They are simply confused. You are not too much. They're just not enough to match what you bring. And here's what they didn't expect: that every time someone disrespected you, the heavens documented it. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. Proverbs 15:3. There's a reason why after certain friendships ended, your peace increased. Why after certain relationships fell apart, your clarity returned. Because not everyone is equipped to carry what you carry. And God, in His mercy, intervened. Do you remember when people tried to manipulate your spirit with silence, distance, or passive aggression? That wasn't you being weak. That was you being watched by angels who protect rare souls. Heaven doesn't allow treasures to be tossed around like trinkets. It isolates what is holy. Kendrick Lamar, a modern-day prophet in the realm of music, often speaks about being misunderstood, even resented for his authenticity. But rather than shrink, he sharpened. Rather than conform, he transformed. His music exposes systems, disrupts norms, and speaks truth in a culture desperate for it. You, too, are a disruptor, not because you try to be, but because truth can't help but disrupt lies. Chosen one, you are not meant to be explained to those who choose ignorance. You are not here to be softened, diluted, or minimized so others can remain comfortable in mediocrity. Your presence exposes the counterfeit, and for that reason you've made enemies without saying a word. Don't take it personally, take it prophetically. You've been called for elevation, for revelation, for transformation. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. That means you were not designed to be everyone's assignment. Only those aligned with your future will honor what others failed to recognize. Think about Viola Davis. She has shared openly about being told she wasn't right for roles. Too intense, too dark, too different. And yet, she didn't lower herself to fit expectations. She redefined the expectations. Today, she stands as one of the most decorated and respected actors in the world, not because she was easy to handle, but because she was impossible to ignore. Likewise, chosen one, your value is non-negotiable. Your spirit was carved for something far greater than applause. You weren't made for popularity. You were built for purpose. And now you must become intentional about who gets access to you. Let this be your declaration. From this point forward, only those who recognize the divine within you may walk beside you. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not common. You are consecrated. And anyone who wants a place in your life must come correct, because the time for being mishandled is over. Don't shrink so others can feel tall. Don't dim your light for the comfort of cowards. Rise, chosen one, not to prove a point, but to walk fully in your anointing. You were never meant to be handled. You were meant to be honored. Number 4. Stop asking why it hurt. Your pain was the preparation for the throne. Chosen one, can I ask you something that might shake your soul into awakening? What if the very thing you've been trying to forget was actually the very thing God used to forge your greatness? What if the nights you wept in silence were not signs of weakness, but sacred ceremonies where heaven was shaping your crown? You've been asking, why did it hurt so much? But what if pain wasn't your punishment? What if pain was the process, the divine tool used to transform you from the inside out? The truth is, pain wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to build you. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. Romans 8:18. Every betrayal, every abandonment, every heartbreak you endured, none of it was accidental. The pressure you felt wasn't random. It was targeted. It was precise. It was holy. Because your throne, chosen one, couldn't be handed to you casually. It had to be earned in the fire. Take a moment to reflect. People who are meant to wear crowns don't get the luxury of ease. Look at the life of Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery, beaten, threatened, and hunted, yet she led hundreds to freedom through the Underground Railroad. The pain she endured didn't make her bitter. It made her unyielding. Her crown wasn't made of comfort. It was forged through sacrifice. And just like her, chosen one, your soul has been sculpted through pressure that others wouldn't have survived. The fire didn't burn you. It branded you with purpose. The nights when you questioned your worth, when no one called, when even your own voice sounded distant, those weren't signs of divine absence. They were the proof that God was closest. You weren't forgotten. You were being formed. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. James 1:12. That's you. You stood the test. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not always with confidence, but you stood. And now, the very tears you thought were wasted are watering your next season. You see, comfort doesn't birth warriors. Pressure does. Chosen ones don't come out of comfort zones. They emerge from chaos with clarity in their eyes. The ache in your chest, the scars on your spirit, the emptiness you once feared. They weren't curses. They were your curriculum. Each one taught you something deeper about yourself, about others, and most importantly, about God. Have you heard the story of Bethany Hamilton, a professional surfer who lost her arm in a shark attack at just 13 years old? Most people would have given up, but she didn't. Her pain didn't end her purpose. Instead, it clarified it. She returned to surfing and became a symbol of hope for millions. Her message? What tried to break her only revealed her strength. Just like her, you weren't broken. You were being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, sharper. Every piece that fell apart made room for something more powerful to rise in its place. You were being restructured for divine alignment. When people thought you were buried, they didn't realize you were planted. And now, chosen one, you're rising, not by chance, but by calling. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30, verse 5. And that morning is now. They saw the fall, but they didn't see the rebuild. They watched the collapse, but they missed the resurrection. That's why your comeback is so powerful, because no one gets to take credit for it. Not them, not luck, only God. And you for saying yes to the climb when it would have been easier to stay down. You've been given a throne, but it's not one built of gold and applause. It's built from lessons learned through agony. It's fortified with the steel of endurance. It's crowned not with jewels, but with every scar you turned into spiritual insight. Think of Simone Biles. The world celebrated her physical strength, but overlooked the emotional pressure she carried. When she took a stand for her mental health, stepping back instead of pushing through, she showed a different kind of strength, divine wisdom. She reminded the world that true royalty doesn't perform to please, it protects its peace. And now, chosen one, you must do the same. Stop replaying the pain. Stop asking why it happened. You don't owe the past any more analysis. You owe your future your full presence. Your scars aren't signs of damage. They're signatures of divine craftsmanship. You didn't survive by accident. You survived by anointing. The pain wasn't wasted. It was woven into the very fabric of your destiny. And every time someone thought you'd stay broken, heaven smiled, knowing resurrection was coming. You're not just a survivor. You're a symbol. You carry within you the blueprint of a soul that refused to fold. The crown you wear is invisible to those who don't have vision, but that doesn't make it any less real. It's already yours. So from this day forward, wear it with boldness. Walk like someone who's been through the fire and found God in the flames. Speak like someone who's been shaped by storms. Love like someone who understands that loss was never rejection. It was redirection. Stop asking why it hurt. It hurt because it had to. But look at you now. You didn't just make it. You've been marked by the journey. And your throne is waiting, not in a palace, but in the purpose you were born to embody. Number 5. Let go of the door that closed. It was never yours to begin with. Chosen one, let me ask you something that might finally bring peace to your spirit. What if the closed door wasn't a denial, but a rescue? What if the opportunity you grieved wasn't part of your story because it would have pulled you off your path? Have you ever considered that sometimes God protects us with silence, with absence, and yes, with closed doors? Let's settle this now. When the door shut, abruptly, painfully, and without explanation, it wasn't rejection, it was divine redirection, and not just for anyone but for you, the chosen one. That door didn't close to hurt you. It closed because it led somewhere that your destiny refused to follow. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. You tried everything, didn't you? You prayed with sincerity. You planned with wisdom. You gave your time, your heart, your resources, yet it still didn't open. But here's the divine twist most never see. When you are chosen, not all paths are permitted. You're not on a typical route. You're on a higher one. And higher paths require higher gates, ones that open only at appointed times. Let's be honest, some of those doors would have led to jobs that drained your purpose, relationships that required you to shrink just to survive, or environments that would have celebrated your silence while fearing your light. But God saw the betrayal hiding behind the charm. He saw the future fatigue hidden behind the paycheck. He saw the way your soul would have slowly eroded under the weight of pretending to belong. Look at the life of Vera Wang. She didn't become a world-renowned designer until she was 40. Before that, she faced rejection from the US Olympic figure skating team and a denied promotion at Vogue after years of commitment. Those closed doors devastated her at the time, but now, in hindsight, she knows those losses rerouted her into divine timing. What she created later wasn't rushed or forced, it fit. And that's what you need to understand. Chosen one, what is meant for you will not require begging. It won't demand that you twist yourself out of shape just to fit in. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. Revelation 3:7. That door you cried over didn't close because you weren't good enough. It closed because it wasn't good enough for you. You weren't being denied, you were being protected. There are places you were never meant to enter, no matter how good they looked on the outside. Some rooms were decorated with illusion. Some people wore masks too well. Some paths would have given you temporary success, but permanent compromise. And heaven will never let a chosen one be crowned by counterfeit favor. Steve Irwin, the legendary wildlife expert, was once rejected by traditional networks who didn't understand his passion or unconventional methods, but he kept walking in authenticity. Eventually, the right platform aligned with his energy, and the crocodile hunter became a global phenomenon. He didn't force open a door. The door met him on his journey. Chosen one, stop mourning the locked gates. Start trusting the God who holds the keys. Stop obsessing over the timing of things that were never timed for you. Doors that are meant for you will open without noise, without force, without compromise. You don't need to plead to be seen when heaven has already marked you. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Your striving won't accelerate what is divinely delayed. What looks like silence is often sacred setup. What feels like stagnation is preparation in disguise. Trust the pause, respect the reroute, release the door. Consider Jim Carrey. Early in his career, he faced repeated rejection from agents, was booed off stage, and even lived out of a van. But he didn't force his way in. He allowed his gift to grow until the door that fit his soul swung open. The result? A global legacy, not just of laughter, but of resilience. His closed doors didn't block his destiny, they preserved it. So why are you still grieving something that was never built for your brilliance? Why are you blaming yourself for a door that couldn't hold the weight of your calling? That relationship, that job, that platform, it didn't reject you, it released you. There's a difference, and here's the most powerful part. One day, you'll look back on what you thought you needed and say, "Thank you, God, for not letting me walk through that." Because what's coming next, it won't just be a door, it'll be an invitation. And this time, it won't slam shut. It'll open wide, fully aligned with your essence, your vision, and your sacred mission. Chosen one, don't chase what's behind you. Don't water dead roots. Don't try to decode what God has already closed. What's next is custom fitted, not crowded. It will feel peaceful, not pressured. It will recognize you, not reduce you. So let go. Release the grip. Walk forward. You've outgrown the hallway. The real door, the one designed for you from the beginning, is waiting. And when it opens, it won't require a key. It will simply know you belong. Number 6, stop underestimating the opposition. Your anointing has made you a target. Chosen one, let me ask you something that may change how you see every battle you've faced. What if the resistance isn't a sign of weakness, but a direct confirmation of your spiritual rank? What if the warfare around you is simply evidence that you've already shaken the foundations of what was never real to begin with? Let's be clear. You're not being attacked because you're off track. You're being attacked because you're right on time. You are disrupting systems built on illusion. You're shining in spaces where people were never taught to handle the truth. And while others move through life unnoticed, you enter a room and the atmosphere shifts, not because of your volume, but because of your vibration. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. Isaiah 54:17. Chosen one, they can form the weapon. They can even swing it, but they cannot win, because the covering over you is not of this world. You carry the Daniel anointing. Daniel wasn't a warrior in the traditional sense, but he disrupted kingdoms just by walking in favor. He didn't shout. He didn't fight. He simply walked with a spirit so holy, so pure, and so steady that kings couldn't ignore him and snakes couldn't tolerate him. His elevation exposed everything fake, and that's exactly what's happening to you. When you began to see through the lies, when you refused to shrink to make others feel safe, when you stopped performing for approval and started walking in truth, they noticed. The gossip started, the jealousy grew, the plots formed, and all you did was stand in authenticity. Malcolm X faced opposition not just because he spoke truth, but because his truth woke people up. His clarity, his boldness, and his refusal to be silenced made him a threat to systems built on silence. He didn't underestimate the opposition, he exposed it. Like you, he didn't ask for the fight, but his calling drew it. Chosen one, you're not paranoid, you're perceptive. That tension you feel around certain people, that shift in energy when you speak truth, that's not in your head. You walk with discernment, you see behind smiles, you feel hidden motives, and that makes people uncomfortable, especially those trying to hide behind false peace. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. You are that light, and light doesn't need to explain itself. It simply exposes what's been lurking in the shadows. You don't need to confront every enemy. You don't need to prove your worth. Your presence already disrupts their comfort. Your silence already speaks volumes. Remember, they're not attacking you for who you were. They're reacting to who you're becoming. Your future is so radiant, it's making demons nervous. Your vision is so potent, it's attracting warfare before the manifestation even arrives. That's the cost of walking in divine favor. Look at Whitney Wolfe Herd, the founder of Bumble. After facing public fallout and personal betrayal while leaving Tinder, many assumed her career was finished. But instead of folding, she founded a billion-dollar platform built on values she believed in. She didn't just survive the attacks, she built an empire through them. That's what happens when a chosen one refuses to be shaken. So stop underestimating the opposition. Stop thinking the attack means you're wrong. In fact, it may be the greatest confirmation that you're more right than ever. You are not here to play small. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to be liked by people addicted to pretense. You were sent to disrupt, to awaken, to elevate. And yes, that will rattle cages. That will draw fire. That will put you on the radar of those who benefit from your silence. But chosen one, hear me clearly. Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. The fire may surround you, but the flame cannot consume you. Watch how they whisper, watch how they circle, watch how they project, but then watch how you rise. And it won't be through revenge, it'll be through radiance. You'll rise because heaven's hand is on you, because your prayers carry weight, because your silence carries thunder, because the oil on your life isn't store-bought. It's pressed from every betrayal, every loss, every lonely night you've endured. Do you know who else refused to bow to the opposition? Misty Copeland. She was repeatedly told she didn't have the right body type or background to succeed in classical ballet. But instead of shrinking, she soared. She became the first African-American female principal dancer at the American Ballet Theatre. not by changing herself, but by changing the industry. That's the kind of power you carry. So let them come. Let the whispers rise. Let the opposition expose itself. You don't need to respond. You don't need to retreat. Because what they don't realize is, when you're chosen, you're untouchable. Not because you're perfect, but because you're protected. Not because you're loud, but because you're anointed. Stand in your authority. Honor your discernment. And most of all, don't flinch. Because even when surrounded, you're still surrounded by angels. And even when targeted, you're still covered by grace. Number 7, don't try to be liked. You were chosen to be legendary. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why certain people seem to shift the moment you start shining, even if you say nothing? Why smiles turn stiff when you walk in the room, or why conversations grow quieter when you enter, like your presence disrupted something invisible? It's not just a coincidence. It's not your imagination. It's spiritual sensitivity. And it's a sign that you're walking in a light they've never dared to face. Let's be real. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be legendary, to leave a divine mark, to carry presence that can't be bought or copied. And that kind of favor, it's not neutral. It provokes. It reveals. It disturbs anything fake. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. You weren't sent here to blend in. You were assigned to stand out, even if it makes others uncomfortable. And yes, divine favor will always trigger jealousy you didn't earn, because what you carry, they can't access. You walk in rooms they had to beg to enter. You carry peace they've never known. And without saying a word, you remind them of everything they've buried. Just look at Keanu Reeves. Quiet, humble, and authentic. Never flashy, never playing by Hollywood's unspoken rules. And yet, his mere presence triggers fascination. He isn't adored because he tries to be liked. He's respected because he walks in truth. He carries favor not built on performance, but on alignment with something deeper. And that's you. Chosen one, your silence is loud, your stillness speaks, your confidence unnerves those who only know how to fake strength. You glow without trying, and your glow exposes their shadows. That's why they shift. That's why they whisper. That's why they smile with tight lips and eyes full of question marks. But you must stop trying to explain your grace to people who can't even recognize their own. You don't owe an apology for being favored. You don't need to shrink just because others feel small in your light. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Your light isn't arrogant, it's assigned. The truth is, they don't hate you. They hate what your presence forces them to confront. Your authenticity reveals their pretense. Your peace challenges their chaos. Your joy unsettles their bitterness. And when they realize they can't imitate it, they start to resent it. Do you remember Frida Kahlo? Her art wasn't created to please anyone. It was raw, real, revolutionary. She was misunderstood by many, admired by few, but authentic to herself at every turn. She didn't try to be liked. She lived unapologetically. And that's why her legacy continues long after her life. People may have doubted her then, but history honors her now. The more you align with your purpose, the more offended others become. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're doing what they've never dared to do. Be real. That kind of authenticity doesn't need applause. It doesn't need permission. It carries its own confirmation. Don't mistake their fake support for friendship. Jealousy isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides in backhanded compliments, in lukewarm responses to your wins, in questions that sound kind but cut deep. Watch for the subtle sabotage. Watch for the silence when you succeed. But don't let it stop you. You weren't built to be palatable to the crowd. You weren't made to be digestible to those who thrive off pretense. You're not here to be understood by the insecure. You're here to shake the ground with truth. Do not be surprised, my brothers and sisters, if the world hates you. 1 John 3:13. It's not your job to make people comfortable with your calling. Your job is to walk in it, fully, unapologetically, and with grace. You're not for everyone, and that's your protection, not your problem. Think about The Weeknd. His early music was rejected by mainstream platforms for being too dark, too different, but he didn't compromise. He stayed committed to his sound, his vision, his truth. Today, he fills stadiums, breaks records, and redefines the industry. His power didn't come from being liked. It came from being undeniable. And so must you be. Let them whisper. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Every time they mention your name, they confirm your impact. Every eye roll, every smirk, every cold shoulder, they're all signs that your anointing is working. Your grace isn't just protection, it's proof. You don't need their validation. Heaven has already validated you. The moment God marked you, no earthly opinion mattered. The calling on your life isn't up for debate. You weren't chosen for applause. You were chosen for purpose. So walk boldly. Don't soften your light for people committed to darkness. Don't shrink your voice for ears that only honor flattery. And don't ever forget, being liked is seasonal, but being chosen is eternal. You're not here to be accepted by the insecure. You're here to rebuild the spiritual landscape. And that takes courage. That takes conviction. That takes a soul like yours. Chosen one, let your light blind those who never had the courage to shine. Let your presence do the talking. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be legendary. Number 8. Quit explaining yourself. Your vision wasn't given to the crowd. Chosen one, have you ever paused mid-conversation and asked yourself, why can't they see what I see? Why does your intuition pick up on shifts others ignore? Why do you notice the truth behind a smile or the warning in someone's silence, long before anything obvious happens? The answer is simple but sacred. You weren't given ordinary eyes. You were given prophetic vision. You don't just see events, you sense atmospheres. Stop exhausting your spirit trying to explain to people who were never meant to see what you see. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Matthew 13:16. God didn't give you that depth for popularity. He gave it to you for purpose. And most won't understand it, not because you're wrong, but because their lenses are still fogged by fear, pride, or performance. You read the room before it speaks. You detect betrayal wrapped in flattery. You walk away from circles everyone else is still trying to enter. And they call you too sensitive, too intense, too much. But what they're really saying is, you make us uncomfortable. Your presence is a mirror, and mirrors always reveal more than people want to see. Think of Nina Simone. She wasn't just a musician. She was a force of discernment and emotional truth. Her music carried messages too raw, too real, too urgent for many to digest in her time. She wasn't widely celebrated while she was alive. But today, she's revered as a legend. Why? Because truth doesn't always trend, it transforms. And that's exactly what your insight does. Chosen one, the reason you feel out of place in many rooms is because your spirit doesn't settle for shallow. You were never meant to swim in the kiddie pool of surface-level smiles and performative friendships. You were made for deeper waters, deeper truths, deeper calling. Stop translating your divine frequency into a language that people refuse to learn. Stop explaining why you left, why you didn't trust them, why you moved before the storm hit. Your insight is not paranoia, it's precision. You aren't imagining it, you're ahead of it. They do not belong to the world, just as I do not belong to the world. John 17:16. You were sent here with a different blueprint, a different compass, And that means the crowd will often misunderstand your direction. But that doesn't mean you change course. It means you keep moving, with or without their understanding. Think about Jordan Peele. His unique vision as a filmmaker was initially dismissed. Too weird, too different, too unsettling. But when Get Out broke records and sparked cultural conversations across the globe, the world had to admit he saw something we didn't. His storytelling was never meant to be safe. It was meant to reveal. Just like you. Your distance confuses them. Your silence frustrates them. Your discernment scares them. But, chosen one, you don't owe comfort to those who've made comfort their cage. You don't need to explain your boundaries, your no's, your absence, or your solitude. They don't understand it because they were never entrusted with what you carry. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. Matthew 7:6. You're not being arrogant, you're being discerning. You don't drop gold into hands that only recognize glitter. You don't explain prophetic insight to people committed to shallow logic. Look at Dave Chappelle. He walked away from millions when his spirit felt misaligned. The world called him crazy, ungrateful, but he saw what others couldn't. He felt what others ignored. And now, he's not just back, he's respected, on his own terms. Because vision is never validated in the moment. It's proven over time. So stop shrinking to make others feel less exposed. Stop apologizing for seeing through lies. Stop explaining your caution to people who have never honored your clarity. Your insight is not a burden. It's a weapon forged by fire and sharpened through every betrayal you endured. They fear what they can't define. And your ability to read their energy before they say a word, that's terrifying to someone still hiding behind masks. You were made to move in silence, to lead without permission, and to guard your gift with holy reverence. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mock your distance. Let them label your vision too much. Because the very things they can't grasp today will be the very things they remember tomorrow, when the truth finally rises. Chosen one, walk forward, not to explain, not to convince, but to fulfill. You were not given this clarity to argue for it. You were given it to lead, so lead boldly, and never ever apologize for seeing what they cannot. Number 9, stop thinking it's all about talent. Obedience is the secret to unshakable favor. Chosen one, can I ask you something soul-stirring? What if the reason things haven't moved the way you expected isn't because you lack skill, but because God is testing your alignment, not your ability? What if favor has less to do with how talented you are and more to do with how surrendered you've become? The world is obsessed with talent. It worships charisma, praises stage presence, and throws accolades at those who shine loudest. But heaven operates on a different system, one that doesn't reward performance, but obedience. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. 1 Samuel 15:22. Favor isn't activated through noise. It's unlocked in silence, in submission, in staying the course when nobody's clapping. Chosen one, you've probably seen it. People with half your wisdom, half your heart, half your discernment getting the spotlight. And you've asked, God, why not me? But the truth is, God isn't impressed by performance. He's moved by obedience. The quiet kind, the painful kind, the kind that shows up when it would have been easier to walk away. Take Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't trending, but his obedience to his calling, his simple, soft-spoken mission to instill kindness, presence, and emotional intelligence into generations has left a deeper legacy than millions of talented voices combined. He didn't chase applause, he followed assignment. And so have you. Talent will get you seen, but obedience will get you sent. And being sent means walking into spaces your resume didn't qualify you for, but your heart did. The world claps for performance, but heaven opens doors for those who can be trusted behind the scenes. Chosen one, obedience is when you keep sowing even when the ground looks dry, when you forgive even when they never said sorry, when you hold your tongue not out of fear, but out of spiritual maturity. It's when you build in silence while others boast in noise. And that is what separates you from the crowd. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. Submission is your secret weapon. Alignment is your launchpad. You weren't chosen because you dazzled the world. You were chosen because you honored God, even when it cost you comfort, popularity, and temporary applause. Look at Denzel Washington, one of the most respected actors in the world, not just for talent, but for character. He often speaks about how his mother taught him that your talent will take you far, but your integrity and your obedience to God will determine how long you stay there. That's why he doesn't just act, he walks with purpose. His longevity isn't built on fame. It's built on faithfulness. You weren't built to compete with those chasing clout. You were created to carry weight, divine weight. And that kind of calling requires sacrifice. It demands solitude. It insists on trust. That's why others sprinted ahead while you were asked to wait. That's why some doors took longer to open. Not because you were behind, but because your elevation needed deeper roots. Jesus didn't choose the most talented fishermen. He chose the most obedient ones. He didn't look for charisma. He looked for commitment. And that same principle is active in your life right now. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good things of the land. Isaiah 1:19. You've stayed willing, you've stayed faithful, and now favor is about to break open in ways that make no earthly sense. Consider Ava DuVernay. She didn't direct her first film until she was in her 30s. She didn't go to film school. She wasn't the industry favorite, but she was obedient. She followed the whisper of purpose through rejection, through delay, through limitation, and now she's transforming cinema. Because when you're chosen, God doesn't ask for credentials. He asks for yes. So chosen one, stop thinking you need to be more talented to get what's already written for you. You don't need to sound like them. You don't need to walk like them. You don't need to brand yourself into oblivion to be recognized. What you need is to stay obedient, stay aligned, keep saying yes when nobody sees it. Keep showing up when your feelings scream no, because talent may impress people, but obedience, it moves mountains, it rearranges timelines, it attracts blessings that no human hand can block, and it sets you up for favor that can't be explained, only experienced. You're not late, you're not overlooked, you're just being launched from a deeper place. Let the world chase the spotlight. You carry the sun within you. Number 10. Don't confuse silence for stagnation. Your waiting season is a warrior's forge. Chosen one, have you ever looked around and wondered, why does it feel like nothing's moving, even when I'm doing everything right? Why does obedience feel like invisibility? Why do the loudest, flashiest people seem to rise, while your quiet commitment feels overlooked? The answer is not what the world would tell you, but it's exactly what your spirit needs to hear. Silence is not stagnation. It is sacred strategy. You're not behind. You're not being punished. You are being forged. Don't let this generation's addiction to noise convince you that your silence means failure. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. What looks like a delay to others is actually divine development. What feels like stillness is where strength is being sealed inside you. The greatest warriors, those truly trusted with power, aren't built on stages. They're shaped in solitude, in seasons where there's no applause, no spotlight, no visible progress, only obedience, only discipline, only stillness. Think of David. He was anointed to be king, but didn't walk into the palace immediately. He went back to tending sheep, in obscurity, in quiet, in the cave. But that's where the crown was prepared, not on his head, but in his soul. You want elevation? Then learn to honor the silence, because this is where your foundation is forming. Consider the journey of Greta Thunberg. Before she sparked a global movement, she was a lone voice, sitting outside Swedish parliament, alone, in quiet protest. No media, no crowds, just a still, focused stand. The world saw a silent girl with a cardboard sign, but God was raising a storm. Today, her voice echoes in halls of power, not because she was loud from the start, but because she was rooted in truth during the silence. And that's what's happening to you. The cave is not confinement, it's construction. You are not idle, you're being instructed. This is the season where your ego dies and your discernment sharpens, where the noise fades and your clarity begins to speak. Because when your time comes, you won't be unprepared. You'll be undeniable. Don't be fooled by what looks like pause. Your destiny isn't sleeping, it's ripening. Just like a seed doesn't scream as it splits underground, your transformation isn't loud, but it's radical. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Stillness isn't weakness. Stillness is spiritual warfare done in silence. Chosen one, this is the season where heaven is watching, not how you perform, but how you persevere. Can you stay focused when no one claps? Can you remain faithful when the door doesn't open? Can you resist rushing when the world screams, hurry? Look at Michael Jordan. Before he became a global icon, he was cut from his high school basketball team. What followed wasn't fame, it was silence. But it was in that quiet, painful space that he trained harder than ever. He didn't get bitter, he got better. When his season finally came, he didn't enter with noise. He entered with dominance, because the waiting season had built a warrior. So why are you discouraged, chosen one? Why are you doubting the process? Do you really think God brought you this far just to leave you waiting for nothing? He's molding you, refining you, testing your depth so that when you rise, you don't fall. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Psalm 37:7. Patience isn't passive. Patience is preparation. Your stillness is sharpening your spirit. Your isolation is fine-tuning your insight. And what feels like a wilderness is actually a holy womb, incubating your next level. You are not missing out. You are being made. The storm you feel building inside, that's not frustration. That's power collecting itself. When your moment comes, you won't walk in like someone begging for entry. You'll be announced not by men, but by the fruit of your faithfulness. Chosen one, don't curse the silence. Bless it. Protect it. Because in this stillness, your spirit is growing roots so deep that nothing will be able to shake you. When others fall from platforms built on hype, you'll remain, because your foundation wasn't built in noise, but in divine quiet. So rest in the pause, trust the slowness, and know this, your season of waiting is not wasted. It is holy ground. The cave may feel empty, but it's echoing with preparation. Because when your moment comes, you won't enter quietly. You'll arrive as proof that silence wasn't stagnation. It was sacred strategy all along. 11. Stop looking for fairness. What looks unfair is favor in disguise. Have you ever looked at someone else's success and thought, why them and not me? Have you ever wondered why the system seems rigged? Why your consistency is met with silence while others are elevated for less? If so, chosen one, you're asking the wrong question. Because this journey isn't about fairness, it's about favor. And favor doesn't follow logic. Favor overrides it. You see, the world is obsessed with fairness. It worships balance, rewards symmetry, and expects success to follow predictable rules. But you weren't born for that system. You weren't sent here to be understood by human logic. You were anointed to disrupt it. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. Psalm 5:12. When God places favor on your life, it breaks protocol, it bends logic, it opens doors that no resume can explain. It puts you in rooms your background didn't prepare you for. And the world calls it unfair because it can't quantify it. You weren't chosen to climb the ladder step by step. You were destined to be catapulted. That's why people side-eye your success. That's why they whisper behind your back. It's not because you cheated, it's because they don't understand that you were chosen, not selected. You were summoned by heaven, not recruited by man. Think of Viola Davis. She grew up in poverty, bullied for her skin, her hair, her clothes. She didn't come from the polished side of Hollywood, but her rise, it shattered the system. Her awards, her recognition, her power didn't come because the industry was fair. It came because God favored her in a place that never made room for her. And that's what's happening to you. Let them call it luck. Let them say you didn't earn it. What they'll never understand is the price you paid in silence. They didn't see the nights you cried alone, the doors that slammed, the times you gave without being noticed, the seasons of stillness you walked through faithfully. They weren't there when you sowed in tears, so they'll never understand why you're reaping in glory. The last shall be first, and the first last. Matthew 20:16. That's not just scripture, it's a spiritual strategy. God delights in elevating the least expected. Why? Because it confounds those who think success is earned only through strategy, status, or social climbing. You didn't need their network. You had favor. Look at Trevor Noah, a biracial child raised in apartheid South Africa, born illegal by law. Statistically, he wasn't supposed to succeed. But today, he's one of the most globally recognized voices in media. His rise didn't come from fairness. It came from an assignment that didn't care about statistics. And that's why you shouldn't either. You're not here to make sense. You are here to make impact. And impact isn't about being liked. It's about being aligned. Your life will confuse people who worship rules. Your success will bother those who think they deserve it more. But that's not your burden to carry. They didn't see the pressure you survived. They didn't feel the spiritual warfare you fought in secret. So they can't comprehend the blessing you now walk in. Let them misunderstand. Let them speculate. Because favor doesn't ask for understanding. It demands obedience. And I will give you treasures hidden in the darkness, secret riches. I will do this so you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, the one who calls you by name. Isaiah 45:3. That means God is not just favoring you, He's announcing you. And when heaven announces you, earth must adjust. Consider Zendaya. She was underestimated early on, too young, too Disney, too untraditional, but she kept showing up, kept aligning, and when her moment arrived, she didn't just participate, she dominated. Emmy wins, groundbreaking roles, cultural leadership. It wasn't fair, it was favor. And it's the same anointing resting on you now. So stop waiting for fairness to validate your success. Fairness is a concept built for the comfortable. Favor is reserved for the faithful. You weren't created to be treated equally. You were called to be treated divinely. And divine promotion doesn't come with committee votes or public permission. It comes with a whisper from God that says, now is the time. You didn't rise because you manipulated. You rose because you endured. You rose because you waited. You rose because while others compromised, you remained. So when the door opens that wasn't labeled with your name, when the room welcomes you without explanation, When the stage is yours and no one can explain why, it's not luck, it's legacy. It's heaven keeping receipts on every unseen sacrifice and now releasing the reward. Let them talk, let them question, let them grumble, because while they argue about fairness, you're out here fulfilling prophecy. Chosen one, stop looking for life to be fair. It was never meant to be. You weren't chosen for fair. You were chosen for favor, and favor isn't predictable. Favor doesn't play by the rules. Favor makes history. Number 12, don't sleep on the shift. Your breakthrough is coming suddenly. Have you ever felt something shifting around you, even when nothing looks different yet? A weight in the air, a stirring in your spirit, a quiet voice whispering, "Get ready." That's not your imagination. That's heaven sending a divine signal. Because, chosen one, a shift is already in motion, and this one isn't just spiritual, it's positional. Breakthrough is coming, and not gradually, not politely, not conveniently. It's coming suddenly. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. When God moves, he doesn't always send a memo. Sometimes he just opens the door. The only question is, will you be ready to walk through it? You can't afford to sleep through this moment. You've come too far. You've endured too much. You didn't survive betrayal, heartbreak, and confusion just to be caught unprepared at the threshold of your elevation. You weren't forgotten. You were hidden for the right time. And that time is fast approaching. Remember, breakthroughs don't come with a countdown. They crash in like a divine wave, and only those standing in position will catch it. Those distracted by noise, bitterness, or procrastination will miss what was already marked for them. Be dressed ready for service and keep your lamps burning. Luke 12:35. This isn't just a warning, it's a spiritual summons. Think of Lupita Nyong'o. Before she became an Oscar-winning actress, she spent years working quietly, unseen by the world. Then, out of what seemed like nowhere, her role in 12 Years a Slave changed everything. Her rise looked sudden, but it was rooted in years of quiet preparation. Just like you, she didn't chase the moment. She was ready when it came. And here's what makes this shift different. It's not about being lucky, it's about being positioned. You must clear your mind, cleanse your space, sharpen your focus. Not tomorrow, now. Because when the doors open this time, they won't swing twice. This isn't a gradual unveiling, it's a sudden unlocking. You've cried too many tears to miss this. You've been faithful in the dark too long to sleep through your dawn. Get up, get serious, get spiritually alert, because this next level requires discernment in motion. So then, let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober. 1 Thessalonians 5:6. Look at Brendan Fraser. After years away from the spotlight, mocked, dismissed, and counted out, he returned not with hype, but with humility and readiness. And the world watched in awe as he rose again, this time not with noise, but with undeniable substance. His breakthrough wasn't just a comeback, it was a reminder that preparation in silence never goes unnoticed by heaven. You, chosen one, are in that same transition. The shift is already underway. You've felt the tension, you've sensed the urgency, and now comes the moment that separates the watchers from the warriors. Chosen ones don't panic. They prepare. They don't scroll endlessly. They listen deeply. They don't chase validation. They follow vision. So let the world distract itself with temporary trends. You lock in. Fast if you need to. Pray without ceasing. Cut off what dulls your clarity, because your next chapter isn't something you step into casually. It's something you must be aligned with completely. Take Shonda Rhimes. Her moment didn't come because she begged for a platform. It came because she built one in the dark. Years of writing, crafting, failing, rewriting, until the moment came and she had something undeniable to offer. Now, her name creates shifts in the entertainment world. And that's what you're being called into. Don't dismiss the subtle changes you're sensing. They are not random, they're revelation. The silence you're walking through right now, it's the final stillness before the announcement. This shift will not be soft. It will not be subtle. It will take you further than you imagined, faster than you expected, but only if you're prepared. Your life is about to accelerate, and when it does, there won't be time to explain how you got there. There won't be room to play catch-up. The window will be small, but the reward will be massive. This is divine velocity, and it requires divine focus. So clean your spiritual house, strengthen your vision, protect your peace, because what's coming won't wait for second thoughts. And now, as we reach the end of this message, let this settle deeply in your soul. You were never random. You were always marked for more. Every quiet sacrifice, every silent heartbreak, every uncelebrated act of obedience, it was all seen by God. And now, chosen one, the shift is here. It's not just coming, it's already begun. Now it's your move. Stay ready or get left behind. Chosen one, if you've made it to the end of this message, then you already know. This wasn't just another video. This was your wake-up call from heaven. The shift is real. The atmosphere is alive. And your breakthrough is closer than it's ever been. Not tomorrow, not someday, but suddenly. And now that you know you can't afford to go back to sleep, thank you for staying with me through this word, for opening your heart, and for allowing your spirit to receive what it needed most in this season. You're not just a viewer, you're a part of this divine movement. And your presence here is no accident. If this message stirred something in you, if it confirmed what you've been sensing but couldn't quite put into words, I want to invite you, if you feel led, to support this message through a super thanks donation. Whether it's small or large, know that it helps us keep pouring this truth out across the world. But even if you don't give a dime, know this: you are deeply seen, valued, and loved. Your support just by being here, engaging, and walking this journey is more than enough. And I thank you for it, truly. As you walk forward into this shift, I speak divine alignment over your life. May every delay turn into direction. May every closed door lead to clarity, and may your obedience be met with sudden favor that no man can block. Stay ready, stay aligned, and above all, stay faithful. Your breakthrough isn't coming. It's already on the way. God bless you, chosen one. Until next time.